Good evening, everyone. How's the day today? So much sessions. All good? So if I'll say, how's the Josh? Hi? You have to be. You have to be. Okay, so within the next 15-20 minutes, I'll set up a concept back to you. And definitely we have a booth outside which you can visit and you can go through this in a more detail. Now, I think AI, we all know, is a thing which we are using now on a daily basis, right? Whether you talk about a generative AI or now move in a direction of agentic AI, right? It's agent-based AI. So how we as a company has set up a platform which can help you in addressing how you can better use an AI. And when I say better use, whether in terms of using it for your personal factors as well as for your applications and other set of things. Now we all seen that over the period of time, data has increased exponentially, right? No longer the parameter is certain offices, certain locations. Data is a new parameter. We all want to access data at that point of time. You sitting here from the last 5-6 hours, maybe also checking your emails on the phone, right? Because you know, to work you have to maybe check those emails. So you are not behind any boundaries to check those applications. And then now AI is also touching that data. So you no longer a user is touching, there are applications, there are AI agents who are touching that data. Deepfake videos, which is sophisticated social engineering. Ransomware, we all know, we have seen the various versions of it. Insider threats is something which is prevalent, and we see different user personas, whether those are criminal attacks, whether those are malicious insiders. But one thing which has also emerged and gone really in a faster pace is an attacks which are very much AI driven. And I was reading certain articles, and last month there is an attack which has happened by using an AI which was called EcoLeak. How many of you have gone through an EcoLeak AI vulnerability attack? Do you know what it's do? So EcoLeak AI is a sophisticated attack that without a user interaction, your co-pilot AI vulnerability were able to access something sensitive in nature from the data lake. So which means that you don't no longer require user to do a social engineering. If you will able to compromise certain agents AI, your data will still be compromised or your data will still be leaked. So one thing which I want to definitely put across, that what we have seen in the security, and I think you talk daily basis with multiple vendors like us, how I can build a more contextual security. And from where these contexts will be built? From visibility. Like a madam said, we spend too much time on verbal, but the first thing is visual, right? So visibility in the security will also a prime important to drive any security policies or any security system. And in the next few minutes, I will tell how we are bringing that visibility. Because if we provide that visibility, we have a power to secure that as well. So now from the data perspective, we all know that data is spread across everywhere, right? And the data is not in terms of the data which is going out of your organization, but if the data is also overly shared, overly exposed, that's also pose a major risk. Okay, and sometimes we'll say, I spend time with multiple CISOs, CIOs, infra, and they will say, Brijesh, I have moved from my different file servers to a data lake. Now that data lake may be coming from any of the vendor, and we'll say we have consolidated all the structured, unstructured data at one place, and we are running so many automations, analytics on top of it to build a view. But what about the security behind that? What about if those AIs which you have built, those LLMs which you have built, get compromised and accessing certain activities on that DLP side? Okay? So bringing those visibility is also important, because most of the data security at this point of time is focusing on user to application interactions and focusing on that data. When we are moving to AI piece, those data which is present in our data lakes is also very important. Okay, so data is everywhere, I think we have seen. Now, how many of you, either on your phone or on your machine, use AI? How many of you use AI? Okay, and how many different applications of AI? 5, 6, 7? You get to know, you see a good reel over an Instagram and say, this AI looks very good, right? It can solve my problem. You go and download that from an app store. I also use AI, okay? So AI sprawl is one of the biggest problem which we have seen in cyber. Now, there are various ways and means from which we are controlling it, because there are certain public AI, there are enterprise licensed AI, okay? And then definitely there are AIs which you are developing for yourself, which are private AI. But what I am mentioning here, that when it's an AI sprawl, you don't know within your organization what user is accessing on the AI. And when they access AI, how this AI and a data interactions look like. Because I'll give you an example. Like ChatGPT is a one AI which is very commonly used. But there is a personal version of ChatGPT which is available. There is a licensed version of ChatGPT available. But if you see ChatGPT from a look-alike, you will not able to see any difference. So data can go to a personal ChatGPT accidentally also, okay? Which a user or maybe some AI automation tool is doing. So the point here is that with the shadow AI risk, because the one thing which we will bring, what are the different AIs which you are using within your organizations? And then how these AI sprawl look like and how we will address it. So I'll go further. And this is the role which you as an individual will be playing in the AI world, right? This is the dual role. One, we have to defend the AI attacks. Other, we have to consume AI because that's solving our business problems, that bringing those productivity, that's solving our skill set problem. Because there are not so much people which are available to be hired on those skills. So AI is solving those problems as well. Now, if I'll say and go further, how I will go and bifurcate it. So if I have a users or an agents help me in building a visibility. Now that visibility can be what are the activities and data interactions I will have, what are the policies which are getting triggered, what are the response actions, and what are the app usage. So if I'll say you sitting in your office, putting across this platform, get a visibility something like this, where you'll say what AI systems are being used, how I can protect my sensitive information, and what is the trend look like across the departments. Because the shadow AI comes from the department side, what they are using. So the similar type of reports and visibility you can get, that what are my top AI applications, what are the activities happening with that, what are the risks associated with it, is there any data which they are touching, is that data is regulated data or a non-regulated data. Okay? So all this visibility is the first layer that we'll bring back to you. Now let's go further and see, when I'm talking about an AI, and we talk to our CISO and CIO of Netskope and we'll say, it's not a problem only for the customers. We also use AI/ML, okay? Because it's a common thing which is adopted. So we also use the AI/ML capability because it will give us a capability to do innovations in a very faster pace. So all these terms in terms of data loss, in terms of behavioral and analysis, IoT security, we also use those LLM models. So which means what I am explaining back to you, the same dashboards are also consumed by Netskope CISO and CIO when they are putting the security policies on it, all that. Now let's go further and talk about what we are delivering back to you. So what we are delivering back to you is a model or a platform which provides you an AI security and help you in achieving your AI readiness. So most of the CISOs comes and say, Brijesh, can you help me? I'm adopting a co-pilot along with Office 365 license. Can you help me in understanding how a policy look like? What are the access that I provide to it? What are the risks which is coming as a byproduct of using a co-pilot? So we'll help in building a visibility. We'll help you in building the contextual view in terms of who is the user accessing, from which location he is accessing, whether he is using personal chat GPT or official chat GPT. So we able to provide you a visibility of more than 1,500 apps from a visibility context. And then this is not only limited to public apps, but if you are developing your own LLMs, your own apps, and these are interaction with Azure data lakes or any other data lakes, then we can also provide you security end-to-end from an AI perspective. Now, this is the problem which we have solved from the AI side of it. But what about the data? Because the data will also get used by AI agents as well as by user. So we make sure we help you, and that's where the major challenge lying within the data security from the last 2 decades. I don't know where is my data. I don't know who has access to my data. How risky is my data? Can I need to do a classification first before doing any data protection? All these type of questions arises within your mind before you touch any data security project. So we'll make your life easy because we are doing that across this industry, and we will help you in discovering, because we have an API which can help you in discovering where is your data, what that data is, whether that data needs to be aligned to DPDP, whether the data is a healthcare data. So all those understandings of data will bring by a common platform. And it can be consumed by any channel. So you may be using it over an email, you may be using it over a mobile, you may be using it through an application, or you may be using over the web as well. Now, how it looks like. So same way you will have a visibility of an AI view, you will have a visibility of data view. And we also help you in preparing what does the posture look like for you at this point of time, whether the posture is good and bad. And here we also help you in discovering your shadow workloads. So in a development environment, apart from production, you also build your UAT workloads for a certain period of time. You also consume certain sample data during that time. And then you may not completely remove those instances. So those instances still exist within an environment. So with our posture mechanism, and this posture can be for the user, for the data, for your workloads, for your applications, you will have a single dashboard talking about what are the sensitive records, how these sensitive records are shared, and who is consuming that sensitive records. And then you can go through different steps which is required. So this is a complete data life cycle which will help you. You discover your data. We help you in classifying your data based on your inputs, based on your industry. We help you in misconfiguration detection in any workloads or any file servers and all. We also help you in doing a privacy violation. So not only we focusing on the data protection side of it, the one bigger thing across the industry where everyone is focusing on, and not only because of DPDP, is a data governance. So data security is a one aspect of it, but we make sure that we cover that completely, not only from the production, but also from the governance side of it. Now, I go and touch various CIOs and CISOs, and they say, Brijesh, this all looks good. This is very much adoptable by a cloud-first company. I have a different personas which are available within my organization. And they typically bring me certain questions on top of what are those different personas. So they say, I have a normal user who access an application, and they want to do his day-to-day job and operations. I have a developer who is using GitHub, Bitbucket, and wants to access to a development environment. And then I have an admin who manages my systems, my applications, and have an admin access. Now, in these three different personas, how your security concepts fit in. So we make sure that we are providing you a security across these different personas. So you can build up policies for your normal users, and those built purely on the zero trust engine. You can granularly control that within a GitHub, what they can access, what are the repositories they can access. And GitHub also have a same problem. So GitHub also have a personal access, as well as GitHub also have an official access. So we can go deeper into the GitHub, or either you are accessing GitHub through a web browser, or through a GitLab, or any other tool. Okay? So our tool has a capacity to provide you that visibility end-to-end. Last but not the least, privilege access. You have AWS workloads, Azure workloads. What are the privileges? We can also provide you visibility, whether someone has accessed EC2 instance, whether someone has touched S3 bucket, whether someone has downloaded something from that. So we make sure that we build a platform which will be consumed for all the personas which exist within your organization. Now, before I conclude, the one thing which we have built to make your life easy, we help you in intelligent discovery. We help you in classification of it so that you know what type of data it is. We also help you in enforcing a real protection. So for example, if I have discovered something, you can consume that and say, I want to block this access. Or I want to coach my end users so that they are aware this is sensitive data. And then, because this platform is AI-powered and zero trust enforced, the posture has to be continuously checked across the user, across the data, across the application, so that you will not say that if Brijesh has allowed access something from the last 1 year, if the risk of the Brijesh change over the period of time, the policies will be more adaptive. And with that, this is how the platform look like on a very high level. We also make sure it should be simplified in nature, and the simplifications come on whether you want to enforce it through a small agent or whether you want to enforce through an API. The management will be common. And you have any of these interactions. This all may not be available for every organization, but make sure that if you want to access a private cloud, if you have an IoT communication there, if you have an AI agent communication with your AI models, all these sources and destinations, when they exchange something, they will exchange purely through a zero trust, purely keeping in mind that their data interactions will be monitored and the posture will be continuously checked. Okay? So with that, I think, please visit our booth. We can go more deeper. And whatever I have presented, sorry I have not told you early, but we have a Kahoot quiz. So whosoever has seen the slides, the answers was lying there. Okay? So with that, thank you so much. See you there on the booth.